Hi, my name is Mark. I do guest ministry for various churches all over the country. I've shared the gospel at places such as the Joe Gibbs Youth for Tomorrow, Teen Challenge DC, and the Movement in West Virginia. I'm also the program director and middle school boys basketball head coach for the Northern Virginia Homeschooled Athletic Association. I live in Virginia with my wonderful wife Noelle and our miracle baby boy Remington Bird. I live a truly blessed life today, but that wasn't always the case. Since my dad was in bridge construction, I moved around a lot as a kid. It seemed like every year we were packing up and moving to a new place. Sports is where I made many friends, though. I played baseball at a high level. I also played football and even basketball, excelling at all three. In high school, I was the captain of the varsity football team and captain of the varsity basketball team. I was a straight A student, and from an outsider's perspective, I looked like the typical all-American kid. But underneath the surface, I was battling with drug and alcohol addiction, causing me to make a lot of decisions that I would soon regret. It wasn't long after I got to college that I started dealing drugs. I did it as a way to make money and eventually became one of the main suppliers on campus. Before my senior year, I got hooked on cocaine and everything went downhill from that point. It was only a matter of time before one of the drug deals I was making went bad. While I thought I was protecting myself, the outcome was still the same. A man I once considered a friend was dead because of my actions. 4 months later, while working as a counselor at a local YMCA in Richmond, I got a call saying there were some detectives from West Virginia who wanted to talk to me. The truth had caught up and I was arrested for murder. I continued to claim innocence, even going to trial. When the victim's mother testified, she had an emotional breakdown, crying hysterically and screaming in grief over losing her son. The memories of those screams echoing throughout the courthouse would haunt me for many years. I was eventually found guilty and given a life sentence. I would not be eligible for parole for at least 15 years. My first 8 years in prison were rough, and I was trying to live the convict lifestyle in order to survive. Then, in 2008, I decided to face my issues and entered a substance abuse treatment program. Not long after, I had a supernatural Christ encounter in my cell that would change my life forever. I went from being an atheist to being a follower of Christ overnight. I got saved, baptized, and gave my life to Jesus. My calling led me to get a Christian education through a correspondence Bible college and also obtain multiple degrees from seminary, including a doctorate in the field of ministry. 15 years had passed since my arrest, and I was seeing the parole board for the first time. Things got very emotional at the hearing, and I explained how I was a new man now, a clean and sober Christian. When the victim's family had their chance to speak, I knew the mother was about to go first. She's the same one who had the emotional breakdown during the trial. I braced for the worst. She said, "Mark, I just want you to know that I forgive you." I couldn't believe what I heard and began to sob uncontrollably, shaking in my chair. But what I also felt was a huge wave of relief and gratitude sweeping over my entire body. The parole board did not let me go that year, but I was not upset because freedom in Christ was far more important than freedom in society. In 2016, the parole board granted my release. Since then, I've continued to answer my calling, spreading the gospel any chance I get. I also was extended forgiveness by a couple of the victim's other family members, including his cousin Raymond and Uncle Mark. When it comes to my faith, going from an atheist to a Christian, God is greater. When it comes to my addiction, from a hopeless drug addict to 22 years of sobriety, God is greater. When it comes to being told my wife and I wouldn't be able to have children, God is greater. When it comes to thinking that I'd never be able to coach because of my past, God is greater. But I also know that no matter how blessed I am in this life, God is much greater here and in the next. I just want to thank everyone for listening to my testimony. Take care, and God bless.